So it's autumn, it's kind of sunny, showery, mixed a bit, so luckily I have an umbrella. But yeah, winter veg. It's possibly not quite what you guys think, and I suspect that's confused a few people, and that'll be why we have the kind of chats we have in the comments. So I thought it might be a good thing to chat about, because, well, let me put it for you this way, right? I think when it comes to growing winter veg and the expectations of growing winter veg, there's kind of two thoughts on that, two schools of thought, and it's this. Number one, I think there's a bit of a culture about growing veg, and number two, I think the greenhouse comes with a lot of myths and misconceptions, and I see that in the comments from you guys, so we're going to have a chat about both. So we're going to start with the veg growing culture. Let's start that one. Yep. Huh. Yeah, for as long as it does, the sun's out now. Okay then, the veg growing culture thing. Let me think of it in terms for you guys as two spaces. You've got the kind of allotment space, and then you've got the garden space. If you've got an allotment, generally, I know things are changing, but generally, if we're talking in a more traditional sense, most allotments are spaces that are given over to the growing of produce, the growing of veg. Rain's back on. I'm just going to keep this up. However, the difference is I'm in a garden, not an allotment. So what do I mean by the difference in that then? Well, I see it like this. A garden has to be more than one thing. Okay, yes, I grow veggies in my garden, but it's also a space where I grow flowers. It's a space where I sit out. It's an extra room in my house, if you like. It's aesthetics. I want it to look nice. So there's more to a garden than just the growing of the veg bit, which means the amount of space you have for growing veg is reduced. On an allotment, you don't necessarily have that same sort of reduction of space type thing. So here's one of the things I'll point out and you can see. So here's the thing. I have 3 raised beds. That's my veg growing space. And I've got a greenhouse. The greenhouse, I can grow tomatoes and peppers and things in it, but I also grow all my flowers and things in there as well for the other bits of the garden. Because as you guys know, the garden to me is much more than just the 3 raised beds and the greenhouse, although I love my greenhouse. But it's all my flowers, my different beds that I grow things in, because I love this as an outdoor space. When it looks nice, I can sit out here on a nice day and it feels good. So I've got to fit all of this in. So for me, that's meant I've had to really think about things in terms of, do I have the space, and is the amount of effort and cost that goes into the growing worth it for what I get out of it for that space? And that's been the priority for me, because although I've said I don't grow winter veg, that's not 100% accurate, because I will still be growing carrots and beetroot and what have you for a while yet, and I always do. In fact, we've had some quite amusing times over winter when the ground has been completely frozen and it's pitch black and we need some carrots for dinner. And we've been out trying to get carrots out of the frozen ground for dinner. But also, a few years back, when I was first growing, I did grow the traditional winter veg type ideas. The cauliflowers, the broccoli, the sprouts, all that kind of stuff. And the thing is, in all honesty, the whole broccoli and sprouts and that kind of thing, I didn't get a single meal out of the sprouts because the caterpillars got them and devastated the entire bed. So that had been a bed that had been grown for most of the year, because they're big plants, it took up the whole bed. I got nothing out of it. What else? Broccoli. We grew broccoli. We grew purple sprouting broccoli. Super excited. Again, it took up a bed and it was most of the year. And we got about 3 meals out of it, I think. I think what we ended up doing was making a big deal out of it and eating them with like baked camembert to make it a fancy thing, because we'd put so much effort into growing it, and that's what we got. And that's the thing. If I had loads of space, if I had an allotment, it would probably be worth all that effort and giving up that space. But when I've only got 3 beds, I've got to think about that, because if I fill one of these beds with things like that take a long time, most of the year, and are going through the season, I lose that bed to the other things. And I grow lots of different things in small amounts. But also, it's about what we eat. I try to grow the things that we eat. I did, in the beginning, I did have the fun and I grew things just for fun. But now I try to just grow the food we eat, because otherwise I think it's a bit of a waste. So I grow courgettes and carrots and beetroot and strawberries and berries and tomatoes and peppers and all sorts of stuff. But it's the things we eat. Whereas we don't eat a lot of cabbage. So there's no point growing it. Although we do eat broccoli, the amount we would get from growing it in one bed isn't enough for what we actually eat. It's much easier to go and spend 30p on a broccoli head from the supermarket. Sorry, but that's just life, that's just matter of fact. I would have to give up more of my garden to fit in more space for veg if I wanted to grow all that stuff as well. Whereas I can grow the kind of spring-summer crops and I can actually get a lot out of my garden that way. It's a sad tale, but I'm just trying to be honest with you guys. Because, you know, you don't have to conform to all these stereotypes about what a gardener is. Your garden's yours and you grow the stuff you want to grow. And if you want to grow winter stuff, that's awesome. It just hasn't worked out for me. Now, the other thing is the greenhouse. I get a lot of questions about what can I grow in my greenhouse over winter. And it's a bit of that question's a bit like how long is a bit of string. Do you know what? The rain started again, so how about we go in the greenhouse to answer this one? So there's also the greenhouse thing. So yeah, you guys ask me a lot. Or in fact, I say you guys, let me be quite clear here. We have a lot of new subscribers on the channel, and they don't have the benefit of having come along in the journey and watched all the other videos, like over 200, that I've done through the years, and all the blog posts talking about my garden and my gardening journey. And for you new guys, I'll also point out I'm Eli, not Kate. Kate's my wife, who you'll see dotted about occasionally. Eli. It doesn't give you summer months in the greenhouse over winter, but what it can do is it can help to protect tender plants from frost. So that's the thing, when we talk about the greenhouse over winter, we're not necessarily thinking we're going to be growing loads of food in here. What we're thinking is that we can use it in a clever way to help. So you guys know that I'm wanting to bring lots of my herbs on over winter. Now, the fact of the matter is, most of my herbs are quite hardy or woody herbs. They'll grow fine. They'll be fine and safe in the garden over winter. Rosemary, oregano, sage, all of that stuff will be totally fine. But I want to keep harvesting them and keep getting nice new shoots. And if they're outdoors over winter, they'll slow down their growth and they'll be woodier shoots because they'll be trying to cope with the winter weather. I'm going to try and see if growing new plants in the greenhouse is possible. And if it is, does it mean that I can get that nice soft new growth from my herbs throughout the winter? So that's one of the things I'm going to try and do. But you guys keep asking me what you can grow in your greenhouse in winter. And like I said, it's a bit of a how long is a piece of string, because where are you in the world? What's your climate like? If winter for you is beautiful and sunny and warm, you can probably grow an awful lot. If you've got -30, probably not so much. If your greenhouse is insulated, that'll help again. If your greenhouse is heated and insulated, that'll help even further. So the whole growing things in winter isn't a given, and it isn't simple. You have to kind of think about your garden, what you use it for, what you will use it for over winter, how much work's going to go in, what's it going to cost, and what options you've got. So, as usual, I just thought a chance to have a quick chat to just cover a topic that I'm seeing coming up a lot in the comments. And also, anyone that now does the whole what can I grow in my greenhouse over winter, or what veggies can I grow over winter, I can just send them a link to this video, and then I don't have to go through this whole story every time with folk. So, in a nutshell, that's what I mean when I say I don't necessarily grow winter veg, although now you know it's a wee bit more complicated than that. And that's me. See you next time.